Hey, what's up guys? How's it going? Welcome to Dave's Watch channel, and for this video I'd like to do a comparison between the smallest watch in my collection and the largest watch in my collection. So I think these watches don't really need much introduction. I have a Patek Calatrava 3802 in yellow gold, which measures in at 33 millimeters, and of course the Rolex Deepsea 11660, the first generation Deepsea, which measures in at a hefty 44 millimeters in case diameter. But if I bring them up side by side, the big thing I notice is that the size of the dials are pretty much the same. The dial size is the same. It's just obviously the case size, right? You got the bezel, you got a big case from the Deepsea, makes this a bigger watch, but in terms of dial size and legibility, they are identical. And I think a lot of people get put off by these two sizes. They think the 33 is too small, and they think the 44 is too big. But I have to say they both wear really well on my wrist, and my wrists are, I'd say, on the slimmer side. They're about 16 centimeters in circumference, but I have very flat wrists, so I can pull off bigger watches like the 44, and of course I can also pull off I feel I can pull off the watches within these size ranges. I really wouldn't want to go beyond either of these sizes. These are my limits, I'd say. 33 is the smallest I would go. 44 is the biggest that I would go. I've owned a 46 millimeter watch, the Navitimer GMT. That was actually the first ever watch I bought online from Chrono24 way back when in 2012 or so, a 46 millimeter, and that was just a little bit too big for me. So I discovered that my limits are 33 to 44, and I think that's a pretty fair range size for majority of people. Some people just get fixated with a 40 millimeter watch. They're not going to go beyond 42 and 38, right? So that's a very narrow range. That's a very small margin, and the problem with that is obviously you got to pay for it, right? Because a lot of people feel that's the popular size of wristwatches. So if you are in the market for a wristwatch, don't dismiss 33 millimeter dress watches. In fact, I would say if I were to start over and I want to build an amazing collection, I would look for 33 millimeter dress watches made from the Holy Trinity. Yeah, you're gonna pay more for the Patek Philippe, obviously, right? But if you're looking for a vintage Vacheron, or even something made in the 90s, 33 millimeter, even all the way to 35 millimeter, you're not going to be paying more than 5 to 6,000 Canadian. Or just look it up in the Chrono24, right? You're going to find some amazing dress watches from Vacheron, right, with amazing movements. The one that I actually have my eyesight on right now is called the Vacheron reference 7592. Simple steel case dress watch. And what's magical about that watch is that it houses the caliber, I think Vacheron calls it caliber 1120, which is essentially the same movement that was housed in the Royal Oak, right? The first Royal Oak, right? Caliber 2121. And you have that in a Vacheron steel case, and the seller is out in Japan. Is asking was it 6,100 Canadian? So I think that's an amazing buy. I mean, what can you get for $6,000 in terms of Rolex? You're not even gonna get a freaking Speedmaster for 6,000 Canadian these days. You know, just go look it up in Facebook Marketplace or your whatever watch forums, right? 6,000 is not gonna get you a Speedmaster, which I feel are highly overpriced, right? Speedmasters are overvalued, a little bit overrated right now in terms of their, you know, in terms of the finish, the watch in general, right? That's why I no longer own a Speedmaster. It's just not worth, to me, it's not worth the money right now. I think if you're looking for a, you know, if you are looking for a respectable, amazing timepiece, you know, see if you can find something from the Holy Trinity. Pateks are still going to come on a premium, but you know, you could get, yeah, I think Pateks, you can get them for about 10 to 12 Canadian, 12,000 Canadian for a 33 millimeter Calatrava. And for a Vacheron or AP, half the price. You know, 5,000 Canadian, 6,000 Canadian, you get a really nice piece. And I think those are the best value watches that you can buy, right? If you're, if you're comfortable with the size, right? But just remember, the dial size is going to be the same, right? Now, if you're looking for something, you know, a little more flashy, you're looking for a sports watch, this Rolex Deepsea is, I have to tell you, you know, it really was sheer discovery. I really wanted a true sports watch. I had the Yachtmaster for a very long time, and that was a great watch, but I felt that it was just a little bit too dressy for me. I wanted I wanted a proper sports Rolex, and it doesn't get more extreme and innovative and revolutionary than the Rolex Deepsea. It is unloved. The Rolex Deepsea, especially the first generation, I think is probably the best value Rolex that you can buy from the market. And I don't want to just, you know, say best value, but it is the most extreme, capable watch that Rolex offers right now in the catalog, minus the Deepsea Challenger, obviously. But you know, 50 millimeters, that's just, you know, that's just a bit crazy. 44 millimeters is still wearable for me, and it is an amazing watch. I think people get turned off by the profile, by the height of the watch. But I think if you have, my wrists are pretty small, they're only about 16 centimeters, but I have wide wrists. I have pretty flat wide wrists. And if you wear it accordingly, right, where you gotta wear it above the bone over here, the ulnar bone, like it sits pretty well, you know? Yes, you're always gonna be reminded that you have an amazing piece on your wrist. It's definitely a little heavier, but come on, man. It's you get a workout, you know? You get a workout all day. You don't need to lift weights anymore. You don't need to go to the gym. Just put on the Deepsea. Right? You get a lot of forearm strength. Oops, gotta put the catch down. You work those biceps, those forearms, those wrists, and just the innovation, right? The quality of the Rolex Deepsea with the adjustable clasp system. I don't know what they call this. And of course the ring lock system, the matte dial, the curve dome on the crystal. It is such a fun, adventurous watch. And I think a lot of people overlook it because they think it's too big. but I think it wears pretty well. I think as long as the lug to lug does not go beyond your wrist, you're good to go. This is a fun watch. It really is a lot of fun and a real joy to wear. It definitely has presence, but in a good way. Yeah. If you're not looking for, if you don't like the Cyclops, but you need a date function, well, the Deepsea is the one for you. I think that's why I bought it, in today's climate, where I feel everyone's overpaying for the modern Rolexes, the 1-2 series of Rolexes, which house the 3-2, 3-5 movements. I think they're just way too expensive for what they are. Rolex is yes, they are luxury watches, yeah, but I don't know. Some people say Rolex is not a luxury brand, right? It's a tool watch. They make tool watches. It shouldn't be luxury, but yeah, let's face it. These are luxury watches, yeah. And I think this is the best one to buy, the 11660. Don't get a Datejust. Don't get an Oyster Perpetual. Right? Don't overpay. Don't pay. I guess if you really like those watches, go for it, right? If you need it in a specific color to express your tastes, then go for it. But if you're just looking for a really fun extreme watch, pair this up with a dress watch. Pair this up with let's just put it this way, right? Would you rather the latest Submariner, right? Or would you rather the Deepsea with not the Patek, but with a Vacheron Patrimony? I'd much rather have this and the Vacheron Patrimony, than just one basic steel Submariner. It's for me, it's no question. This is such a fun watch to wear. Unique. It's got a lot of character, a lot of innovation, technology, research and development. It can withstand high pressures, and I like to believe that resonates with me. I feel I can withstand high pressure situations, and this kind of reminds me of that, that, okay, you got a extreme watch, right? It can withstand high pressures, and I like that quality, right? I like to be able to withstand a high pressure situation. And that's why the Deepsea resonates with me more so than any other Rolex, to be quite frank and honest. And I've owned many Rolexes, but this Deepsea Sea Dweller, for whatever reason, I don't know why, it's out of sheer discovery, it just resonates the best with me. And I've owned Submariners, Explorers, Explorer 2s, GMTs. I still have my Daytona, but I tend to wear this the most. Yeah, so there you go. Rolex Deepsea and a Vacheron, right? Does size matter? Yeah, size matters, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that you should try and extend your range, right? My range is 33 to 44. Okay, anyway, wish you all a Merry Christmas. Bye.